Welcome to the Christian and Daniel Show.
It's about to get real, well, you know the deal. You won't have to guess how either of them feel. Bringing up the things you don't think to know. Never knowing where the conversation will go. Just a little more than anything goes. It's a Christian and Daniel Show.
Oh my, look, Daniel, it's us. Hi, everyone.
Hi, friends. When did y'all sneak in?
Yeah, welcome to our home. It's so nice to have you here.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah. Squeak.
How did it go from some, like, European yeah
To
Queen? Welcome.
There was a day, I'll leave it anonymous, but there was a day when I heard so much of that, I was about ready to shoot someone. Yes, Queen. Welcome to the Christian
And Daniel Show.
That's Daniel.
And that's Christian.
And that's me. Oh my God.
And, I want to welcome all of our friends on Facebook. Welcome. I want to welcome all our friends on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Thank you for joining us. Please subscribe to our channels and share this show on your page. Let your friends and family join in the fun. If you're watching us on YouTube, do us a favor, scroll down, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. It'll let you know every time there's a new show on the YouTube page. Plus, we need the subscribers, so help us out.
We want to change the name.
Yeah, we're so not close to 1,000 people.
I know, we're so not
so
close.
not close. We're almost.
Oh my God, we're like this far away.
Almost not there.
You can't
Almost
even see
not there. Yes. If this was a destination tour, we would still be like at the destination airport.
Here we are at the terminal still. Thanks, folks, for your support.
Yes, I like to check in my luggage because I don't have enough followers to get to where I'm going. But we're sorry, sir. Do you have your passport?
I know. Yeah, I have a passport, but I'm waiting for people to say yes.
Yes.
Yes, Queen.
It's one of those days. We are
overjoyed to thank Ecuadoria. I said his name wrong. Checo Doria. I've never said your name wrong all these times, and now I say it wrong. Echo Doria. No, Checo Doria, our artistic director.
Kai Galama, our music director.
And Ibag Odo, our stage manager.
Which we hope he will make a presence today. Oh, we already have some.
Yay!
Hola, amigos, ¿cómo estás?
Hola.
Abrazos.
Hola.
De verdad que tenemos que comunicarnos, Maricruz. Tenemos que platicar una noche. Ya viene a los días de fiesta. Maricruz is a good friend from Monterrey, and we keep saying we're going to talk, and we never talk. Un día de estos vamos a platicar.
Someday.
Hello, everybody. We are officially in.
I know, it's weird. He's on the office. It's weird. I know. It seems different to me too. I don't know why, because it's not, but it feels different.
No. Abrazos y besos, Maricruz. But yeah, David, thank you for coming back. David, I love David. David's one of the longest followers that I've had from podcast times.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you, David, for your support.
He's been following us since the podcast days. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wow, podcasting.
Micah, abrazos. Happy Thanksgiving to you, sir.
Happy Thanksgiving Eve to you.
Big T has the K-pop.
I totally have my fingers crossed. I'm going to get some horrendously big, obscene, totally expect a fat guy to be eating size prime rib tonight.
Oh, yeah. So for everybody...
But we probably should first bring on our guests. So.
Oh, yeah.
We don't want to leave him in the green room forever.
He did make an effort to get on tonight. And I can see him on the green screen, in the green room, making faces. So... Hello, Ross.
Hey guys, how's it going?
How are you feeling? How you doing?
Happy Thanksgiving to both of you guys.
Well, happy Thanksgiving to you. Oh, well, you're in October, right?
I didn't even know that there was a Thanksgiving in October in Canada. Yeah. I didn't know Canada had Thanksgiving. That's so cool.
Yeah, well, and ours changes. Well, ours changes every year. Like it's not one set date. So this year it was really, really early. Like this year it was second week of October.
Uh-huh.
So you have a
And,
floating Thanksgiving Day?
Like, does your prime minister
Sorry?
just decide? Does the prime minister just decide when it's going to be? I hereby decree.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know how we like to, how we are, how we like to do things here, right? We constantly are doing, our own thing, and we're setting trends.
By the
So,
way, everyone, in case it wasn't clear, Ross lives in Canada, in a beautiful city of Regina, in Saskatchewan province,
come on, because I know where you're going
Middle
with this.
bottom of Canada.
and it's central Canada.
And when it rains, it gets moist.
Yes, yes. I actually didn't even touch on the name today. I was very good. You and Ross did. I didn't.
You didn't touch on the moist
I
vagina.
didn't touch the moist vagina today.
Welcome back, Ross. Ross has been both a guest on here, a guest co-host here, and a guest on Putting Together Conversations. And he is my Canadian boyfriend, so I'm so happy when he's here.
Oh yeah, yeah. And he looks so nice and comfortable. This is really the first time we've seen you inside instead of outside.
Yes, they finally let him in the house.
Well, that's true. I guess I've been outside both times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but
it's getting a little. It's getting a little cool here now to do it from outside. Like.
Yeah.
Never mind the fact that it's pitch dark now too. So.
I was going to say, doesn't the sun go down for you guys because you're so far north? Oh, wait, you're not north, though. You're in central.
Well, no, we're southern, the southern
Yeah,
part of Saskatchewan, but
Oh,
yeah, I mean, it gets dark here by 5:30 at this time of year.
Okay. So about the same.
And it's 8 o'clock.
so they're asking,
Yeah.
how can you change Thanksgiving days? Do you change Christmas too?
Does the prime minister decide Christmas is going to be in
We shall
July?
have Christmas in July.
Well, I mean, with our prime minister, you never can tell what he's going to do.
Because he's like a Margaret Thatcher of Canada. He's been like prime minister for what, 3,000 years?
Pretty darn close.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been now this last election that we just had in September. This is his third term now. So,
Wow.
unlike in the States where you have a max, max 2 terms?
Yeah.
For 4, and it's 4 years each term, right? So,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, he, here in Western Canada, he is not overly popular just because,
I've heard.
yeah, it's not a good thing. I mean, I've got to be careful, obviously, because we are live, and there's things that I would love to say about him.
What I could say, because I'm an American, so we all have opinions here, is if I'm correct, he is very French Canadian.
Oh yeah, he's as French as they come.
Yeah,
he's
that's
from
what I
Montreal, so
yeah, that's what I thought. So I know that would be just one of the different. It's like the East Coast and West Coast of America. We're very different places.
So where we have Republican and Democrats, what do you guys have?
Well, we have three. We have Conservative Party, we have the Liberal Party, and then we have the Independent. We also have the NDP. So New Democratic Party. The New Democratic Party is basically an offshoot of the Liberal Party. Most people would say that the NDP is a liberal party because there's just a few differences between what they believe in as a party. But in the House of Commons, we do also have an independent party. That independent party though only sits as I think they've only got 2 seats in the party. Like it's not a very big pot. Yeah,
they have no power basically.
They have no power. They have no power whatsoever. But yeah, no, he's
outlines our independent
the prime
party.
minister. like the prime minister has done a lot in the last couple of years. There's been a lot of lies that have been going on. I mean, the usual political stuff, right?
Yeah.
The usual political garbage that goes on, and he was called on a lot of things
Yeah.
and wouldn't answer for them. And he's up on. I mean, he's being investigated by the RCMP for blocking. There's all kinds of stuff. There's scandal that's gone on within. There's been some pretty shady stuff that's been going on, and
Hmm.
he's using his power through his party to block the RCMP from investigating them.
Oh yeah.
Into
Typical
so
politician.
the usual garbage.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, everyone, Royal Canadian Mounted Police is what RCMP stands for our American
Oh
viewers.
yes, sorry.
The Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And are they now? Is the RCMP? Are they considered like FBI to us? Like, is that the analogy?
No, they're the original police force
Okay.
that when Canada came to be, the RCMP or the Royal Canadian Mounted Police they were the first police
In the rugged,
party or
in such a
group
rugged
or
area.
what, yeah. Um, so they continue to be rural. Like all your major cities have their own police forces, but
Yeah.
anything out in rural, is all handled by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. So
Okay. Wow.
Nice.
there you
Well,
have
I
your
really want
lesson,
to get
your Canadian history lesson.
I know. Now we know everything we need to know.
Yes. Uh, I'm sure I'll never use that in a citizenship test, but I will keep it right here.
Daniel's already a citizen, everyone. He's American.
American.
He's American.
I became American 3 years ago.
And I got it down.
Well, with that in mind,
My body, my choice.
we're going to show you our TikTok video early today so you guys can check out what we're talking about.
If you walk into a room to get something and you forget why you're there, welcome to your 50s. If you go to sneeze and fart at the same time, welcome to your 50s. If the back of your legs cramp up while you're trying to get up off the toilet, welcome to your 50s. If you walk into a room to get something and you forget why you're there.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. Exactly.
I love that it says pre-COVID we used to cough to cover our fart.
Is Christian drinking eggnog and brandy in that cup? Yes.
Yes, David, I am.
That is, what is it? I give him his happy juice.
Yeah, I demand it. I'm all because before the show, I'm like Kathy Lee Gifford, when she hasn't gotten drunk.
Yeah, yes.
I'm like, and he's all, I'm giving my happy.
If you've ever watched Toddlers and Tiaras and their happy juices, that's what I give them before every episode.
And I usually like it in my Christmas mug.
Well, yeah, we didn't have our regular.
I know. I just didn't feel like killing them out and doing it because they don't hold very much.
Well, actually,
I shouldn't say that about our merchandise. It's not the merchandise that's currently available. Those were prototypes that we used.
So, Ross, I forget, how old are you?
You just had to ask, didn't you?
Yes.
I'm 50. I'm 51. So.
Okay, well,
Are you
we're
serious?
the same age group.
You're a child.
Yeah.
You are literally younger than me.
When is your birthday, Ross?
May 31st.
So
Yeah.
so you're turning 52 next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a new 50.
Yeah. So
I'm almost a year.
you're older, and then Ross, and then me.
Because I turned 52 tomorrow.
Friday.
No, Friday.
Friday. So for everybody that's
That's
watching,
right. Happy birthday.
Can I give you some advice? No.
so
See,
what
the
was
plan was, Christian, that there was supposed to be a birthday gift coming your way for but IKEA doesn't deliver down the down
Not
to
in
you guys.
LA.
So I couldn't-
Are you doing the bug thing again?
there's a bug.
he last time on his show, he was swatting at a bug like a crazy person. And everyone's like, we don't see a bug, Daniel. There's no bug.
There's a bug.
And just now he did it again. I'm like, Ross, you cuckoo bird.
I'm starting to wonder about him. I really am. Like, he can't hear the sound. He can't he's now swatting at the air.
Okay,
rubbing his nose.
I'm wondering.
My nose feels dry.
My nose itches.
My nose feels dry. I don't. Since I came from New York, everything's just been off a little bit. But this is why
I'm wondering what type of juice is in your glass, Daniel.
That's right.
Look, Ross. Don't judge me.
But no, Daniel worked this week. He was actually on the East Coast in New York City, in the Bronx.
In the Bronx.
I don't know how people talk in the Bronx.
Actually, it wasn't.
Banji, that's the only Bronx
It was.
I know.
Where we were wasn't. I mean, it was nice. We went to this really nice park where we worked. So, New York was good. But today's video is this because in honor of Christian's birthday coming up, I thought let's do a turning 50 video.
And this guy's done a few of them. They're pretty funny.
Yeah. So for all of you watching and for Ross, what is one thing that's happened to you that you're like, I'm getting old?
Oh, the walking into a room and not remembering what you were doing. Like, why was I going to this room? It happens to me in the kitchen all the time. I'll walk in the kitchen and I'll be like, why am I in the kitchen? And I'll just look around the kitchen and there won't be, of course, nothing gets me. And as soon as I walk away and start doing something else, I'm like, oh yeah, I wanted a napkin.
How about you, Ross? Is there anything that's happened that you're like, yep?
I would have to agree with Christian in the sense that it's walking into a room and not realizing why you walked into that room in the first place. So whether it's the kitchen, or it's leaving something, I'm countless times. How many times I've done this? Walking in and putting something into the microwave and walking away and then coming back, 3-4 hours later and finding my breakfast sitting, or my coffee or something sitting in the microwave. How many times that happens?
Yeah.
Okay,
I do the same thing with tea. I'll make tea on the Kit-Cure. I'll do it and have it to hot water. I'll say, oh, you have to leave it for 10 minutes. I always tell them 10 minutes to let it steep. 3 hours later, I'm like, oh, I forgot I had tea.
Well, coming back from New York, so whenever we fly, or whenever I'm flying, I always wait till as they start boarding, group 1. And I'm usually on American. I'm usually always group 6. So I'll take that opportunity. I'll run to the bathroom, and so I don't have to go on the plane. Which I'm old now, so I have to get up and pee 3 times on the plane anyway. But on this trip back, okay, this is so stupid because I don't think I even told you the story. On this trip back, same thing. I had a sandwich that I bought, so I ate half a sandwich. I had a soda and a bag of chips. And on the layover, I finished the sandwich, finished my chips, but I didn't finish my soda. So I was going to go to the bathroom, and I put my soda in my backpack. I said that. So I get up. I go to the bathroom, I come back, and I'm like, dang, my soda. So I run back to where I was sitting because now there's somebody sitting there. And I'm like, did you see my soda? And they're like, no. I'm like, I had a soda. I was right there. And I was like,
and they're like, we're going to drink someone's half-drunk soda.
Yeah, because obviously someone wanted my back juice. And I was like, are you sure? I'm like, it was a ginger ale. And they're like, no. And I look at people, I was like, did somebody take my soda? If I'm going to go chase after somebody drinking my soda, that's just the idea. But somehow in my head, in my old man head, I was like, who took my soda? And I was about to yell. When I was like, opened my backpack and it was there. I didn't say anything. But the lady sitting across from where I was sitting gave me this look like, you're about to bitch, weren't you?
She was probably 50 and knew what was going on. He forgot.
You were about to say something, weren't you?
You're about to go crazy.
Oh, man.
You're about to be a Karen.
Do you find that you have to write every little thing down now too?
Yeah.
You know that's the one thing I've found is that it's I I've regressed to having to, my wife is constantly saying, she's always been one to write lists of things that she needs to, things she needs to do, or groceries or whatever, right? And I've always been, oh, no, no, no problem, no problem, I'll remember it. Well, now it's two simple items that I have to pick up from the grocery store or something, and I forget one of the two if I don't write it down.
Yeah. And you may even pick up other stuff. That's like, wait a second. I didn't even get the core
Right.
The main purpose I stopped at the grocery store yesterday was to get eggs because I was making albondigas and you need egg to bind them. The main reason I stopped was to get eggs, and I'm like, we don't really.
What did you actually?
We don't really eat eggs anymore. We eat egg whites, but I also needed cilantro, so I got cilantro. But then I walked by the deli, and I was like, ooh, should I get us some sandwiches for lunch? And then they had chicken salad and tuna salad and some little pasta. So before I continue, yes, listening to the younger generations and conversations and understanding the slang words. I have to Google everything.
That happens.
I can't figure things out. But so I get us chicken, tuna, and pasta salad. And
it's this really great lemon pasta.
And then and the reason I remember the cilantro was because it had spices on the salad. I'm like, ooh, cilantro, I need cilantro. I forgot the eggs. I went back for crackers.
He would have forgotten the cilantro too.
I went back for crackers, and then the main reason, which was the eggs,
he didn't get.
I got home and I didn't have eggs. I was like,
then he tells me, how many egg whites to one egg? And I go, a quarter cup of egg whites to one egg, and it actually worked perfectly.
You said a quarter?
Yes. He put way too much egg in.
Well, I put a third
instead of a quarter.
And then it didn't seem enough, so I put another third, and then it was too much, so then I had to put breadcrumbs in it so it would bind better. But they turned out good.
It turned out amazing.
Good.
So,
I mean,
it was delicious.
Yeah. So they were good. I mean, but
that was really funny. And a quarter. Lately, it's been hitting him. There have been he forgets things here and there, and I'm like, don't forget this, and then he'll be like, you never told me. I told you.
Even driving with the GPS on, if I'm leaving from here to my house, I know the way to my house, but I have to put a GPS on because if I'm on the phone with somebody, I will miss my exit. And
on the highway, this shortcut highway 73, if you miss your exit, there's not like an exit for like 8 miles. Not like you have to go way out of your way to make your way back. So it's a real pain in the neck. And I've been on the phone with him and he's like, oh, I just missed my exit. And I'm like, it's going home. How do you not know how to get home?
I know how to get home. I'm just like Hansel and Gretel.
You can't multitask anymore.
So there you go.
Yeah. Well, and you see, then your hearing starts going too, right? So because your hearing starts going, then you've got the issue with you can't hear the GPS. So it's going to get worse, Daniel. It's going to get worse.
Well, and it's just saying. Daniel has issues with. He'll be looking at something. He'll be like,
"How dare you?"
And I'm like, "Hon, do you want me to read it?" Because I'm blessed.
Which is why
I still have 20/20 vision.
Which is why I have 20 pairs of glasses all over the house.
And he'll lose them. He's had 2 pairs on his head, and he's been looking for a 3rd pair. Where's my glasses? And he has 2 on his head.
Okay, I have a confession to make. I'm supposed to wear progressives.
I'm
supposed to wear progressives.
Wow.
But I don't wear them because with my illness, they give me much worse headaches and so
absolutely.
Forth. So that's why I've been trying to not wear them because of that. But now I'm getting to the point where I can't even see the print on certain signs and so forth. And so it's getting to that point where I'm going to have to bite the bullet and start wearing them because what do you do?
You gotta see.
I go to the dollar store.
See.
Yeah, I go to the dollar store, and if they have them in my number, which is 1.25. 1.25.
Oh, you've graduated to 1.2.
Shut up. And yeah. And if they have them in different colors, I will buy one in every shade that they have. And then there's something
Just
I really
knowing that they're going to disappear.
Yeah, but they don't disappear. It's just that I move them from place to place and I forget to bring them back. But I have like one by the couch. I have some on the dinner table. I have like two by the bedside table. But there are times when I've had them like up on my head, and I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, he's asked me, literally looked at me with the glasses on his head. Where are my glasses?
And then I'll pick up another pair, and as I try to put them on, when they click, and I'm like, oh, there they are. Yeah. Or I have the one on my head, and I have one on my.
You're going to be that person.
Do I?
Oh, yeah. He'll be the one with like 5 sets of glasses on his head.
You're going to be that person, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, you're going to be that person that has about 55 pairs in their bedside table.
Yeah. David, I absolutely do not. I always look at them and, no, I don't. I actually don't get annoyed when I get carded. I take it as a compliment, and I always thank them. I always go, oh, touch my pearls. And I just go, oh my God, thank you for asking for my ID.
When was the last time you got carded for anything?
I get carded for lots of stuff. You just may not always be there.
Is it to give you the senior discount?
Maybe, but they still ask for my ID. At least I could see where mine is. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to say, when was the last time? I can't remember the last time I got carded.
I actually do get carded every so occasion at a club, and I'll just thank them because I know they're just being.
When was the last time you were at a club?
I was at a club recently. I was. Whatever. Yes, queen. Such a wonderful man. I tell you, Ross, it's a roller coaster. Like they say, if your relationship's all flat, it's just boring. We have mountain peaks. We have Himalayas. I feel like I've climbed the Himalayas a few times. Come down the other side.
So, for everybody watching, this is the Christian and Daniel Show. Our guest host today
is Ross.
Mr. Ross McReery from Regina, Canada.
Regina, Saskatchewan province, Canada.
And we're talking about age today because Friday, it's Christian's birthday.
I will be 52 years old.
52, babe. Wow.
Not young, old.
Yeah.
I'm going to play that game.
I don't like the...
It's 52 years, that's a long time.
I get annoyed when people are like, oh my God, you're 50 years young. I'm like, no. I have fought hard.
We both have fought hard to get to this
age.
And Ross has too. We've all fought a lot of
And Ross is like, don't include me in this.
But, Ross is younger than me, so he has nothing to worry about.
But I think I have a lot of like physical and spiritual bumps and bruises to celebrate that I am 50 years old. I mean, I'll be 51 in a month.
Always a year and a month behind.
You're only as old as you feel, right?
Yeah,
you really are.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, folks. I'll tell you, youngins out there. There are things that happen that you cannot change. You cannot prevent until they have a pill for anti-aging pill someday. There are just certain things that happen, like getting up, creaking when you get up, or making that sound.
It sounds like a zipper when you get up and your bones are lying.
When he gets up in the morning, he wakes me up, he creaks so much. Crack, crack, crack.
I do.
And then, there are just certain things that change that you can't help. It's just comes with the fifth decade of life.
Gray hairs?
But it doesn't mean, because you're so gray.
Well, Ross doesn't have to worry about
that.
Well, certain things start sagging,
yes, that's very true. You start to see the effects of 50, 51, 52, 50 plus years of gravity working on your body. Gravity is always on, folks, and it's always pulling stuff down. Things change.
You find yourself you find yourself going to get certain supportive items
Yes,
from Walmart and saying,
yes. And people go, "Oh, you must work out hard." And I'm like, I don't work out at all. This is just life.
Here's a good question for all of us. If any of you could make any part of your body younger, what part would you choose? This is a magic wish question.
"Wow,
I would make my brain younger
Why?
because there wouldn't be any of the little hiccups. I wouldn't have to worry about dementia for a long, long time or Alzheimer's. And it's just everything works so well. When I remember I had a mind like a steel trap. Like I remembered everything. I didn't need to write anything down in my 20s. I didn't need to, even in my 20s and younger, didn't need to write anything down. Didn't walk into a room and wonder why I'm in that room. I didn't want to
names, times, and
Yeah.
all that stuff, like phone numbers. Remember we
I
put
used
cell
to know
phones?
so many phone numbers by heart. Now I only remember one phone number, my home phone number, and one friend's phone number from my youth. That's it.
Because at the current moment, I don't even know your phone number by heart. I still mess it up.
Yours is.
Well, don't say it out loud, but
I don't think I know
do you
yours.
remember your childhood phone number though?"
I
or
remember
do
my home number,
Right?
and I
Right.
remember one friend's number who I always went to their house, and that's
Yeah.
it. All those other
Or
numbers.
your address to your house, your childhood home.
You never forget.
That's
Like
um,
this thing has robbed me of. I swear, as soon as I started relying on a phone, all those numbers disappeared. Like my brain's like, oh, thank God, you
Yeah.
don't have to remember all those numbers anymore. Because I tell
Yeah.
people, if I lose this, good luck, you'll never hear from me again.
so what about you, Ross? Is there some part of your body that you would?
Well, I think Christian, you hit on it. The mind is a big one. That would be one that I would, but I would have to say my legs, and my calf muscle. Like I'm starting to see you're starting to see the varicose veins start to come through, right?
Oh,
Like
yes.
and it's like, oh geez, like like
When
you
did that
start to
happen?
feel like, how did that happen? Because I mean, I pride myself on keeping good and fit, or as fit
Yeah.
as I can, right, through diet and whatever exercise I can get, and with a chronic illness, right? But I look at my legs and I sit there and think, oh yeah, that would be the one thing that I just, that yeah, I can see my age.
Turn the dial
Um,
a little bit.
yeah, yeah.
What about
What
you?
about you, Daniel?
I think my legs as a whole, because when we met, I was doing promotional work, so I was always running around, and
Yeah, he thinks his legs look so not sexy as they did when I met him.
we're not talking about sexy. I mean,
Well, he
I'm
doesn't.
sexy and I know.
He's not happy
Um,
with his legs, obviously.
But when I was younger, when I was younger, like since 2008, I was working promotions and events and ran around a lot, worked a lot, set up, breaking down events. So I always had like really nice legs.
Ooh, excuse me.
And I could walk a
50.
lot. I could walk a lot, and I could run around a lot, and I didn't get tired. And then, but it was post cancer. It wasn't necessarily getting
Yeah,
old.
I mean, a lot's happened to your body.
Post cancer, a lot of things happen. So
Cancer, anal cancer, Tommy. I mean, your body's been through hell since the time you're referring to.
and to still be like I just worked the weekend, the event, and I am emceeing the event, so I'm running back and forth talking to people, and so but I can feel it. I can feel my legs at the end of the day. They're like, okay, we're done. Like you're not.
See, and I can, and that's where I can agree with you, Daniel, in that we both have enough. Our bodies have both been, have been through so much that it starts to take its toll, right, on the body. And I even notice little things like, I mean, obviously, as you know, I've got skin cancer, um, but I've noticed just even my face, on my
Mhm.
face, I'm getting all these new growths, and and they may not be noticeable to too many people outside of myself when I'm looking at it, but when you're looking in the mirror and and you see it, it's amazing the psychological effect it has on you.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm starting to get the gray hairs on the temple, and my stylist, not that she refuses to cut them anymore, but she's like, they look good on you. They look good. And I'm like, and I
Why do you
am,
think I shaved my head?
where
I
did
went
you
gray at I went gray at 23,
really?
22
Wow.
or 23.
I don't think I've
Yep.
seen any pictures of you with hair.
I because for the longest time I've never had hair. You know,
Wow.
I it I come from a family where my dad went silver, like he went silvery gray by the time he was 20. Um, you know,
Wow.
2021 somewhere in there. So, I'm sure I've got that gene.
It becomes, to me, that becomes such an exercise in self-acceptance, because there is a point where, yes, you can color and dye and fight everything that's going on as much as possible, but in the end, sometimes it's just so much more refreshing and freeing to just accept, this part's not going to look the
Yep.
same as it used to. My hair is not nice, dark brown anymore. I have a bald spot
Yeah.
on top. This is just, I'm not going to do anything about it. Except for once my hairstylist sprayed that, like, I just call it like spray paint on your head to make it look like you don't have a bald spot. They used to sell it in the 90s, in the early 90s. And she did that to me once with some product. And yeah, it didn't look like I had a bald spot at all anymore. But when I laid down on a pillow, I left a big old black stain on it that I had to work out of it. And I'm like, and then I remember one time when I was dating before I met Daniel, I was dating this one guy who I thought had this beautiful jet black hair. And he stayed over one night. And when he left the next day, the pillow was black because whatever he sprayed, whatever
Oh,
cheap cover up he had in his hair, it came off all over my pillowcase and destroyed it. I had to throw it away. And thus we never talked again.
Yeah,
I'm like, you do not come into my house and destroy my stuff because of your vanity.
that, folks, is STDs that we don't normally talk about.
I know. Be careful of your pillowcases. But it's so funny because it takes so much effort. When give yourself back that energy and just accept yourself the way you are. You're fine. People will find you
you
attractive.
know what? When you finally get into when you get into a relationship, and you start, that's exactly it, right? You've hit it on the nose. When you get into a relationship, I was the same way. I used to dye my hair prior to us, like, or
Mhm.
early on in our relationship, and my wife would sit there and say to me, um, you know no, it looks pretty hideous, I guess I chose a bad color or something, right? But when you start getting comfortable with one another, and you just start accepting all of those little things, those little quirks, and those little, you know when when you're laying in the same, or sitting in the same room, and you start playing, when you start playing a rousing a game of Dutch oven, um,
Yes.
under the you know
That, that's when you
those
know
things that yeah,
you put
yeah,
together a long, you very comfortable with each other at that stage.
No. Yes.
yeah.
One of these days, David, we're going to do an episode from the bedroom, and he's fine. Don't
Oh,
talk.
I saw that. I thought that was really cute. I like the name Pillow Talk with Christian.
Don't talk Christian. Confessionals.
Confessional.
Hi. Welcome to my bedroom.
Welcome to my boudoir.
I've got some stories for you. Grab a cocktail and join me.
Be sure to grab a cocktail. And join me on as we go over my dainty flower experiences.
Grab a pillow. Join me. Anyway, so it's about that. I'm not going to go further than that because it could go
No, it goes so far.
I was just gonna say it could go totally sideways.
Yeah,
We've been very decent this whole episode, so let's keep it that way. So with that said, it's time. Are you ready?
Sure. My pick for the week is a movie. I will ahead of time I'll warn people, it can be a bit long. But I did not find it overly long myself, but I know people who've talked to me who saw it before me did. It's No Time to Die, which is Daniel Craig's 007 Farewell. Because that's Daniel Craig's last movie as 007, and the new 007 is a black woman. And she's curvy. So I was very impressed with that fact. And I love that James Bond, I guess it's not going to be James Bond anymore, it's going to just be 007, is going to be a female, and a black female, who's curvy. Who'd have thought? You said that like 30 years ago, someone said, you're out of your mind. James Bond will always be James Bond. But no, now it's not. Now it's going to be Jane Bond. Who knows? But it was really cool that in this movie they transitioned and they introduced her to the audience. So it's really neat. So, and it was actually a really good James Bond film. Actually had a little bit of heart in it, a little bit of humor, and all the characters came back. I do miss Dame Judi Dench. I miss her playing M, but Ralph Fiennes did a fantastic job in it. Cool. No, Ralph Fiennes?
Ralph Fiennes?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Ray Ross?
Ray Ross? Are you Ray Ross?
Ray Ross.
What are we?
Ray Ross. I'm Ray Ross, yes.
Ray Ross.
My pick of the week is season 2 of Tiger King. Don't want to spoil it for anybody, but this was all the rage. It's on Netflix, and it was all the rage for season 1, and season 2 is back with a vengeance. I'm about 3 episodes in, and it's for that. It's that sort of combination of documentary / crime / provocative in some cases. It's got a little bit of everything in it. It's got a little bit of redneck. It's got a little bit of but a little bit of the backstory is that this guy Joe Exotic. The name says it all. He is behind bars now, and for I don't want to give too much away, but it is this guy that used to keep tigers, and there's murder. There's it's just an all around good trailer park style of show is the easiest way to explain it, because I don't know, it's addictive. You binge watch the thing, I've watched the first 3 episodes in the first 2 days, because you just can't get enough of it. And no, that's my pick, and I'll probably be finished season 2 by later tonight.
My pick of the week this week is actually a whole channel, because this is one of my favorite times of the year to watch the Hallmark Channel. I know a lot of people don't like them, and they think they're cheesy, and that they're like all similar. But I was pleasantly surprised, because I'm about to get it on my channel list. I didn't have Hallmark Channel for last year, but while I was in New York, I watched Hallmark Channel like the whole time that I was in the hotel room that I was working, and I was very pleasantly surprised that there was a lot of movies that did not follow the traditional Hallmark movie recipe. Boy or girl has to go back to some town, falls in love with a person that they don't like, and then they let her.
They bake.
It's my time.
Bake cookies.
Shut up! It's my time. But this time, I found several movies that they were playing that did not follow the traditional. That the boy did not end up with the traditional girl, or that they did not fall in love. And one of the other things that I really enjoyed, and I know that we're still a little deficient in that mark, but there was a lot of gay characters in these movies, and uh, not to mention that Jonathan Bennett, Jonathan Bennett, yeah,
Oh, I'm not here. Remember, this is your time.
Jonathan Bennett from Mean Girls actually has a Christmas movie. This is the sequel. So there's two movies. So there's a lot of really good stuff out there. So I know some people look down on Hallmark Channel, but I don't care. The movies, I really think that for everything, and on a more personal note, it's like for everything that is going on in the world still, sometimes a well-known recipe in a movie is just what I need to just detox from what's going on in the news and happening in the world. So this is my pick of the week: is just go and watch Hallmark Channel all day while you're wrapping presents. And if you live with the Grinch, then you will. Shut up, Christian. Anyway, so there you go. You're such a turd.
But I'm your turn.
But what else? Oh yeah, so we're watching. Christian's birthday again is this Friday, so make sure that you send him little lovely messages. We're gonna go have dinner tonight.
But understand, I'm horrible at responding and thanking and all that formal stuff. I'm really bad at it.
Don't expect him to reply.
Don't send something expecting me to be, oh my God, I'm so over the top. Thank you. Thank God for you. I was not, I was talking to my therapist today, and we were talking about how it's interesting that my father's incredible amount of negativity growing up when it comes to any type of celebration. I had fun birthdays up until age 11. Then when I turned 11, I was told that anything after that, you're too old to have a party. You're too old, you're past the age of needing to have birthday parties. And so that became like, meh. And then Christmas is all about, a certain individuals, the reason for the season. And I didn't get gifts. I would get a card and a self-help book, which I didn't ask for. So that's always fun. That makes you feel really good about the holidays. And then we'd always had the Charlie Brown Christmas tree, which was just sad. Like, it's all sad already. And then to make it the icing on the cake, the cherry on the top of that sundae is a Charlie Brown Christmas tree that you put something on it and the limbs start to fall down. It was, and I'm not kidding. This is really what it was like. And don't get me wrong, I did not live a life of deprivation at all. But the holiday, every single holiday, except for Thanksgiving, was always like just a mess. My dad worked very hard to make everyone unhappy. I don't know why.
Well, see, the reason our Christmases were Christmases was because of my sister Nancy. She's the one that encouraged it. My parents grew up, their childhood was not surrounded by Christmases. My mom, her mom died when she was a baby. She was passed around from family member to family member. So she never really celebrated. My mom didn't comprehend the value of celebrating stuff. And my dad, my dad's my dad, period. But my sister Nancy is the one that encouraged it. And
I believe that.
I got the Christmas spirit from her. And
it's wonderful because she's taught all of her kids to be that way, and they're teaching their kids.
Yeah,
and
they have a
it's
big
going
Christmas.
to continue on because honestly, why not let your kids enjoy all the holidays and birthdays and everything? And why make it about you and what you want to believe? You believe your stuff over there.
Well,
somewhere else.
Ross has kids. Do you ruin all the holidays for you? Do you ruin the holidays for your kids too, Ross?
I'm kidding with that.
No, I mean the Christmas holidays for me are a very important time for us as a family. I mean, we have on my wife's side, we have a huge family. And that's what's actually made the last couple of Christmases really difficult because with COVID, We haven't been able to get together. And what you got to understand is that our family, we on my wife's side, we have probably we've lost count now, but it's probably 70 people, that are on my wife's, that
Wow.
that we all congregate out at our cottage at the lake, and that's where we have one big compound that everybody gets together for Christmas. And even though it's her immediate sisters and those family members that have Christmas dinner together, that whole holiday season is around those 70 people, and in and out of each other's houses and so forth, right? So it's a big celebration. I was raised that way with our family. Like, I've got a relatively big family myself, and our kids are very much Christmas people, and Christmas people, Christmas kids that I can it's important to them. That time of that spirit and time of the year is an important time of the year for them.
Oh yeah. No, it really is. Like I look at me. I'm 51 years old, and I still haven't overcome all the destructive signals and messages I was given about every celebration, except for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, we'd go up to my mom's family, which loves Christmas and loves the holidays, and we would go up to their place up in Northern California. And I loved it. We go up there. Where they live is really up in the woods. So, well, it's Oroville. It's very up north, and you could smell. There's a lot of logging places there, so you could smell the wood in the air. You could smell fires burning. And we would just go to my aunt's house, and she'd be doing all the cooking there. When my mom would join in, and everyone was so happy and so joyous. And there were more people happy and joyous than my one dad wanting to make it about him and some ridiculous belief he had. So he was overwhelmed. So his voice could not be heard. And that's why I love Thanksgiving. Like, I grew to love Thanksgiving with my family up there, with my Aunt Jane, my Uncle Lee, God rest their souls. But my cousin Sue's up there with her family and her stepchildren and all the nieces and nephews. I mean, I'm excited when Daniel and I will have an ability to go up there and celebrate a Thanksgiving with them. Hopefully in the next year.
Next year.
Probably next year.
Yeah.
Because I would love to do that, and I have so many wonderful memories up there. So that's why I think plus I'm a food compulsive in recovery, so I like any holiday surrounding food. Thanksgiving was great, and I love all the food from there.
Here's a good question. Did anyone of you ever believe in Santa Claus or always knew he was a fictional character? I still believe in Santa Claus. So.
Do you guys remember? I mean, I'm sorry, but I was that kid that, I mean, my heart was crushed when Mom and Dad told me that Santa Claus wasn't real. I know. You know what? Do you guys remember your mom and dad's turning the radio on and saying, "Oh, Santa Claus has left the North Pole," and
Yes.
like my mom and dad used to play that up, to the nth degree, right? And they would start at 6 o'clock in the evening, and every 15 minutes they give us a report where Santa Claus is and where he's in Oslo, Norway, and stuff. And it just built up so much, and they focused on taking us to get our pictures taken with Santa Claus, and they built that whole Santa Claus side of things up so much with us that it was just, how could you not believe that Santa Claus was real?
Yeah. I remember being, I think I was like 8 or 9 when I got my big boy bike, and there were more presents. There was like my racetracks and my train sets, but when we would leave for Mexico, because we would go for the holidays to Mexico, and we would leave, and my dad, we lived in Dallas, and we'd drive down to Monterrey. My dad was always the last one out of the house. He would always make sure that everything was locked, everything was set to go, and we'd all be in the car and we'd jump in. So later on, I found out why during Christmas he would do that. But we would come back we would be in Mexico for Christmas, and we'd go to cousins' houses, and there was like, they would get their Santa presents, and my mom and dad was like, Santa's gonna drop yours off in Dallas because that way we don't have to cross the border. And for me, that was logical. Well, that makes sense. Like he can just leave them there. That's cool. But I remember coming home like one year, and my train set was set up into my bedroom, and I was like, how did you like how did that happen? Like it had to be Santa. And then another year it was so my train set, my race car tracks, and then when my big bike, when my big boy bike, I was like, I walk into my bedroom and there's my bike, and I'm like, how? Like how did he like what?
Yeah.
And then when I moved into Laguna Beach, my next door neighbor Brian plays Santa Claus every year somewhere. He's always hired to be Santa Claus somewhere. So my first Christmas, in Laguna, I was alone, and it was the first time that I ever spent Christmas completely alone. And the day before, I think it was like the 23rd, he was doing the rounds in some of the events in Laguna, and I was so sad, and I walked out of the garage, and in walks Santa Claus into the garage, and I didn't know because I didn't really know anybody in the comic, and in walked Santa, and I was like, holy crap, like you're Santa, and I didn't even know he was my neighbor really, because we never really talked, and I was like, he's like, I'm your neighbor, I'm like, you are? I'm like, I live next door to Santa. And like, I was 39 years old when I moved to Laguna, and it was one of the saddest years, but he made it so special. So I do still believe in the magic of Santa Claus. Like, I know he doesn't give my presents, but like, I do believe in the magic that Santa Claus has to offer. So yes, I still believe.
And I just want to explain. I can shake my head. I'm shaking my head and nodding a lot. It's funny because like I know people have had these experiences. I know about the Santa Claus broadcast and all that, but don't take it that I enjoyed any of that, because that was not the case. I just relate to it because I had a fiance at one point, and her family was a Christmas crazy family. It was so much fun. I will never forget them for that. Like they went, it was cuckoo bird Christmas, and they were Caucasian, so it was even more different than I'd experienced, and it was cuckoo bird, and I loved it. They taught me what Christmas should look like, or what it's supposed to look like, what it can look like.
And then for several years, we were going to Texas to visit Nancy, my sister, and then my sister from Mexico was coming up. So there was
so much fun.
There was a lot of people. There's cooking, there's barbecue, there's music. Then at midnight, everybody's opening gifts, and it's just chaotic. The last 2 years,
and I love all the nieces and nephews because they were younger then.
Yeah,
they're like going nuts and screaming and throwing paper everywhere. It was so much fun.
So the last 2 years,
it is so much fun.
I personally missed being in all that, but I've also enjoyed what we are creating together for the holiday, which is.
And I think you touched on something really important there, Daniel, is that we're doing the same thing in our family, right? The last couple of years, it's been the four of us, and we're creating something. We're creating something special between the four of us, and for our Christmases. But do I miss that chaos and the getting together to, like, we always in our family, we would go out and get the fresh tree, and we would do the decorating together, and we'd watch the Christmas caroling, and we'd do all those things, Christmas, and when all the movies started coming out and all that stuff, right? But like you say, there's something to be said with creating new tradition too.
Yeah.
Well, folks, with that, we've come to the end of the show. Ross, thank you. Before you go, I'm going to remind everybody, long stories, shorts, but there are still some of the books out there. For those of you that had not been part of the show for a while, my publisher and dear friend, Kevin Moyers, passed away a while back, and he was in charge of all this. So I don't know where we stand at the moment with how books are going to be distributed or sold, but you can still check those out and try to find them. At some point, I will have the inventory and I will be in charge of selling my own books. But for now, if you can find them in one of those venues, please do so. Continue to help. But Ross, thank you so much for being. Did he please? There he is.
No, you didn't freeze. He's just.
Thank you so much
for you to finish.
for being back on the show, and we love you. There's so much fun.
There's a comment.
Oh, there's a comment.
Well, thanks for having me back. Yeah.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David. And thank you, Ross. I love having you on. I love seeing you. You
I
look
like
great.
I kind of like it.
And I hope you know,
Hey,
as
we'll
far
do
as
it again.
all this other stuff is
Maybe.
working out well for you. And happy. Oh, I forget. You already had Thanksgiving,
We already had
so
Thanksgiving.
whatever.
But we'll talk to you more or less. For those of you who have been following Ross's story, my story, and another story, Healthy Voices 2022 might be back in person. Yes.
Yeah,
We might be-
I know.
We might be in Dallas for the next conference in I think it's April of 2022. If you are an advocate in anything or a caregiver in any kind of diagnosis, get in touch with me. I will give you information. I don't know if they're like taking new people in applications yet, but just in case you want to be on that list, but we'll be able to. I'll be able to see Ross in person,
Which will be so
hopefully
nice.
in about a couple months. I'll be able to hate on
That'll
him.
be awesome. Yeah.
For now, I want to thank all of you for watching. Thank you for being on the show, and we'll see you guys next week.
Next time.
Oh, not next week.
Not next week.
Next week is World AIDS Day, and I have a lot of events going on that night. So we will see you in 2 weeks. Bye, guys.
Just.
Nice.